Yes, first of all, I want you to, I'm sure Council received copies of letters that I wrote to all the candidates that were elected in Mississauga, congratulating them and also inviting them to a meeting, which is our custom, to have a meeting with the MPs and the MPPs when they are elected. So the staff will be arranging that. In addition to that, I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister congratulating him and then issued an invitation for him to attend the final game of the Memorial Cup in Mississauga. So I hope that he will respond to that. I also, as a former Quebecer, I have to tell you, I wrote Jack Layton to thank him for eliminating the separatist party in the province of Quebec, because I've always been concerned about a native Quebecer that party has been trying to break up Canada. So I think Jack Layton is to be complimented on the wonderful campaign he ran that obviously appealed to the people of Quebec, and they really tossed them out. So I hope that I, as mayor, have done what you folks would have wanted me to do, to congratulate all the newly elected Conservative candidates in Mississauga. At the same time, I want to express to those who lost that have been very dedicated members of the city of Mississauga. And I think of Peter Fonseca and Bonnie Crombie and Paul Zabo, that have been very much a part of the city of Mississauga, made a major contribution to this city in so many ways that I think we've lost some good community people, which I think is unfortunate. But when a thing crosses Canada like it did, I think there are some good people. And Baines, a very distinguished Sikh, a member of the Sikh community, and was considered maybe a leader of the Liberal Party down the road, as maybe the first Sikh. I think it's unfortunate, but at the same time, that's the way federal and provincial politics go. I recall when Trudeau-mania hit this country, that I remember an article in the paper, I wish I had kept it, that they said if a dog had run, they would have won. So when that hits, a lot of good people go down, which is unfortunate. Yes, good people are elected, and I'm not saying they aren't, but the point is, when you think that somebody can get elected and stay in Las Vegas, I tell you, it really is so it was a very unusual election, in my opinion. But now that Mr. Harper has a majority, I pointed out to him that our key issues is infrastructure, public transit, and social housing. And I hope that he will fulfill the requests of the municipalities across Canada, not just Mississauga. Councillor Dale?
To my colleague to my left here, Eve, very happy for you that you've got a new challenge in your life with respect to becoming a member of Parliament. In fact, you're my member of Parliament now. We live within the boundaries of the riding. And I can tell you, I know I'm speaking to people in the community, and certainly we live in neighborhoods that are very close to each other. They've always been strongly supportive of you as a councillor and recognize the dedication that you've given and the contribution that you've made as a councillor. And I think you'll just continue to do that. And to Nab Baines, he did represent as well as a member of Parliament, and I think he respects that as well. But I guess things happen in elections, and I think obviously the voter's never wrong, and they made a great choice. Thank you.
Councillor Carlson.
Madam Chair, I too would like to congratulate Councillor Eve, soon-to-be Member of Parliament, Eve Adams. It's been a lot of fun working with you for so many years, and you'll be one of my MPs. And I can recall when the ward boundaries changed, you said, well, here's a section that's from Ward 5 you'll be looking after, and good luck and so on. I said, well, here we are a few years later, you're right back where you started from, so it's a good thing that the list didn't get thrown out because it came in handy. But I'd like to thank you very much for all your hard work here on the local issues like housing, and while I'm at it, Brad Bunt will serve your former Mayor's Youth Advisory Chair, a great long-serving community member who is very knowledgeable about the same issues that we're concerned about. transit, housing. So I don't think, I'm trying to remember the last time we ever sent two so experienced new MPs to Ottawa who have such a profile in municipal affairs. So that's a big load to take with you because you know the calls will be coming in, and I recognize the limited role of the federal government in direct support to municipalities, but it's a growing role, and I know when you're there you'll be sticking up for us and doing your very level best to make sure that Mississauga gets its fair share. And to both, I don't know the other elected people, so I have to refrain from saying too much other than wishing them luck, but you two will do very, very well for us, and I'm so proud to both of you, and good luck with all your efforts in Ottawa.
Thank you. Councillor Starr.
First of all, to the elections, I think it's great to be all blue, if you want to say it that way, Madam Mayor, because now it'll be easy for you to go to Ottawa and get money.
That's right.
That's the jest, of course. There will be no more excuses. Well, you know what? We're working against one party or the other, and we're not getting the votes, etc. And you know all the other excuses that maybe happen. But Eve, I'm sure you'll lead the charge for any of that help that we need down the road. That leads me to
Councillor Mullen.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And Councillor Adams, I would like to extend my congratulations. You have fought hard for your constituents in Ward 5, and I know that you will fight hard for the city of Mississauga. You know the issues, you know the concerns, and I'm hoping now that Ontario, through the Prime Minister, we will now be more recognized, and we will now be treated more fairly. That is my hope, and I think that's certainly the hope for all of us in Ontario. So I wish you all the best.
Mayor McKellar.
Yeah, just to indicate that in regard to the gap, the filling of the position in Ward 5, Janice Baker and Mary Ellen is going to bring forward at the council meeting, outline to you the complete details of what the process is. It's complicated a little bit, and it's very important that council has all the facts before them to deal with the issue.
I'd like to take a moment too to congratulate you, Eve.
Yeah, of course.
You fought a good battle and very fairly won. And again, as Councillor Mullen said, you have worked very, very hard for your constituents in Ward 5 and very passionate about what you're doing. And I know we all look forward to working with you in your new capacity, and we're looking forward to you being a very strong voice for us up in Ottawa. And we want lots of money coming back in. And we know that you share the concerns with the social services that I know it's hard to go against party policy, but I think you'll do an awesome job doing that. So congratulations. I'm going to ask Janice now, because my understanding was that we were going to get a verbal update today. I know there have been quite a few inquiries about what is happening. So if you could verbally update council now on the process that we would be following, and then we can have a formal report next week if we need it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Madam Chair. And first of all, if I can extend my congratulations to Councillor Adams as well on behalf of staff. We look forward to working with you in your new capacity. So we'll certainly enjoy that. It'll be like having an old friend back for a meeting, I guess, when we do our first MP's update. The process has a number of steps laid out in it. So the first will be for council to declare the seat vacant, and that will happen, I believe, contingent on Councillor Adams being sworn in as an MP, because under the legislation that she's no longer eligible to sit. So at this point, we're anticipating that will happen next week. There will be a report coming to council next week to deal with that. What that does is it triggers a 60-day period for council to make a determination as to whether they are going to appoint or have a by-election. And so depending on the decision and and of course the appointment requires very little further action on the part of staff. A by-election requires a whole process then to start. I think we need to carefully plan the actual voting day and the date and sort of work backwards from there, because as I understand it, there have to be 45 days allowed for the the election period to run itself. There has to be a 60-day period for nominations to be open. So the date that council passes the bylaw to trigger the by-election triggers those two time frames then to kick off. So we will be sitting down as staff to put that information in a report to council and bring it to you. And then once council makes a decision as to whether you're going to appoint or have a by-election, we will work with you to set the best date for council to actually pull the trigger on that process by passing of a resolution and a bylaw, and then move forward to implement the process. So I do have a meeting set up with staff to work through the logistics of all that so that we can get you all of the proper information for you to make an informed decision. But really the kickoff to the first step at this point we anticipate will be at council next week.
Thank you. We have some questions on this. Councillor McFadden.
I just have a question about the interim, Janice, between us declaring the seat vacant through the nomination, through everything. Does the office of the mayor take responsibility for Ward 5 like previous when it happened with Councillor Giles? Not the same sort of situation by any means, but just if when it's a vacant office, what happens to Ward 5?
I think that's a decision for council to make. So and maybe what we can do is include some of your options for that in the report as well. But I don't think there's anything automatically that happens. I think that's also a discussion that council needs to make and have a decision on.
I'm just concerned because the residents of Ward 5 certainly deserve to have representation, which I know Councillor Adams would want as well. And secondly, of course, we're going to take into consideration that there's a provincial election in there in October, so...
Well, that's why I thought we need to be thoughtful about the actual voting day, because it can't be too early, it can't fall on a Sunday, and it can't be too close to the provincial elections, so...
Is there a way, maybe, I know when I was speaking to Pina and to Crystal about wrap-up of the 2010 election, is there any possible way that we could combine the voting for Ward 5 with the provincial election so that they are all, it might increase voter turnout because they're already there for a provincial election, to have a setup there for the municipal election as well? Could that be a consideration? I know that Pina was going to discuss it and look into it on her level, but it's just another comment to maybe get more people to turn out for the election.
So I really don't want to comment on other than say we can look at it and determine if that's possible.
It's just it was brought up and I thought it would be a consideration. Thank you.
Councillor Tobin.
Yes, thank you. Just maybe a question to City Solicitor. My understanding of the legislation as well is that there's also time frames on the regional level. As soon as we trigger this, then we would have 60 days to the region. We also have to notify the region, I understand.
Yes, as soon as council declares the seat vacant, the next step is to notify the region. But then all steps in terms of filling that seat are done at the local level, not the regional level.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Mayor McKellar.
Well, I know you referred to Councillor Giles. Let's refer to McKechnie and David Cullen, etc. Automatically, whether council decides it or not, you can rest assured the mayor's office will get the calls. I'm already dealing with one in Ward 5. So it's automatic. They'll call the mayor's office, and I assume I take the responsibility and I depend on the staff in the respective councillor's ward to be able to provide me with all the background information that would be necessary in order to deal with an issue. So it falls to the mayor's office. Whether council directs it or not, the calls will come to the mayor's office.
Thank you. Councillor Stark?
Yeah, the other question I